Weekly Rewind.
All right, let's get you caught up in all the injury news, the madness.
It was
Again.
It was a mini bloody Sunday. It
I was
ridiculous.
out. I was out, and Mike was sending messages into Slack, and I believe it ended with "It's happening again. It's happening again," because we saw a lot of injuries. We saw a lot of guys go down, and we saw the kind of injuries in this week in fantasy that really hurt people. I mean, it hurt the players too, right? Because they got the injury. But it hurt the fantasy player because it happened early in a lot of these. And so you had several injuries. We'll go through them. The first one I'm going to mention, though, this one did not happen early. This happened late. Joe Flacco has torn his ACL. The Ravens are out of players, and they have resigned the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because Justin Forsett also broke both bones in his forearm, and he will miss the rest of the season. And so you take Steve Smith 2 weeks ago going out, and then Flacco, and then Perryman was ruled out completely, and Forsett and Taliaferro, and I mean,
wow.
And the season started with T. Sizzle,
Dennis Pitta.
Oh my goodness! Crockett Gilmore's now playing quarterback. Did you know that?
For 1 week until he gets injured.
So this should let's spin it the right way. Unfortunately,
let's be positive.
Well, no, we're not gonna be positive for the Ravens. We're gonna be negative for the Ravens, and we're gonna say started defense against the Ravens.
Yeah,
backup quarterback, backup running back.
Matt Schaub is now famous for those pick sixes. So those defenses, you want them to score.
Well, and honestly, we were debating this before the game, and this is in the Flacco, Justin Forsett news context. Javorius Allen, Buck Allen. You know, is he going to be the Darren McFadden of a really bad offense? Probably.
Yes, and I'm of the position that I think that it doesn't necessarily kill him that Joe Flacco is out, kill Buck Allen.
Not at all.
Because I think that while the end zone opportunities will likely be limited, I mean, Justin Forsett wasn't scoring touchdowns anyways. They were letting Joe Flacco sneak them in. They were doing bootlegs to fullbacks and to tight ends. But Buck Allen, with Matt Schaub as the quarterback, he was probably looking at a healthy dose of dump-offs.
So here's the beauty of it. We get to debut this brand new, fresh Ravens team on Monday Night Football against the Browns.
Ooh. So do you pick up the Browns defense?
No, you don't pick up the Browns defense. That would be I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. But yeah, that's compared to like the two flexes, the Cardinal games, the last 2 weeks were incredible on Sunday Night Football, where it was close games, the Seahawks and the Bengals.
And tonight should be good with the with the Pats.
Yeah,
Bills.
Rex Ryan on primetime, I'll take it.
And then you get Matt Schaub versus Johnny Football.
Yeah,
Monday night primetime.
Well, it's always great too because when you have a matchup like that, it's fun to listen to Gruden and Tirico just kind of like because they actually come out and say those things now. They're like, yeah, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. Not all right.
Let me tell you, man.
Back to the news. Devonta Freeman concussion. This killed Freeman owners, people relying on him for must-win games. There's nothing you can do about this. It just happened. Hopefully you were rostering Tevin Coleman, so if Freeman misses a week, you've got Coleman. I don't know if he'll be back or not. You had Tammy had a concussion earlier. He missed a week for Atlanta. It's just going to depend on that concussion protocol.
Yep. And the unfortunate side was Coleman was not he didn't debut that well in the getting the two downs, and he's not getting the passing down work. He's still a bit of a fumbler, so he's a decent option if you're the Freeman owner and you can't get anybody else. But like Andy said, hopefully we've been talking about Coleman that you need to have him if you're a Freeman owner.
Yeah, they play the Vikings this week, so it's not the best matchup if Tevin Coleman does get that start, but you should always have him.
Yep.
Breaking news.
Well, this is just I'm sharing the Marshawn Lynch news in the context of breaking news because it came out this morning that he is going to see the same doctor Alan Hearns saw last week, and the team believes he has a sports hernia and may need surgery, and so that he's going to be seen by I forget the doctor's name in Maine or whatever that Hearns went to, but if he's out. If he needs to go under the knife, this is going to be the Thomas Rawls show for the rest of the season. Thomas Rawls had kind of a good week.
Yeah. I believe Sean Alexander was the last Seahawk to put up that kind of yardage.
200 plus. Yeah.
And in between Sean Alexander and Thomas Rawls was a pretty good running back there in Marshawn Lynch. So Rawls is the reason that Robert Turbin and Kristen Michael were just dispensed with.
Now we know.
Yeah, he's really good. And Andy's smile from ear to ear as he picked.
I've got him in 2 of my 3 leagues already. I picked him up a couple weeks ago and profusely mocked the Marshawn Lynch owner for the past 2 weeks, who may or may not be my brother-in-law, who insisted he would rather keep Tevin Coleman on his bench than Thomas Rawls to handcuff Lynch. And now he's getting his comeuppance, and I like it.
Oh, man.
No, but he's going to get to play Coleman for 1 week.
Maybe.
And guess who he plays against? He plays against
The Vikings.
No,
He plays against.
He plays me next week head-to-head, and I'm going to play that Rawls fella.
Yeah, I hope for the sake of this little microorganism here that I hope that Tevin Coleman is the starter. So that you can have Tevin Coleman against Rawls.
Yeah.
And see who
This
really
is what
wins.
makes fantasy football great, and hopefully you don't mind getting an insight into our league of record and our world here, because these are the things where the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was post picture and meme after meme on our fantasy wall, our like league Facebook page, just to mock him because it felt so good. All right, ESPN Bears reporter Jeff Dickerson said Matt Forte appears to be on track to play Thanksgiving Day against the Packers. This is interesting. We talked last week, Jason and I did, about the fact that Forte is very open to sharing carries, and they may very well. There's no real reason not to share them at this point with Forte coming off an injury and Langford playing so well. What do you do if you're an owner of these two guys?
If you have both of them, or if you just have one?
Well, if you have both of them.
If you have both of them, you still play Forte, to me. And if Forte is ready to go, then I think he'll still get the majority of the timeshare. And there's still the possibility with John Fox that he goes old grumpy man and Forte gets all the carries again.
So let's say you're the Langford owner and you don't have the best of options. Do you start Langford next week if Forte is starting? Are you willing to put him in on your flex?
If your options are very limited, and what's interesting in my other big league, I have this situation where I've just been depleted by all kinds of injuries. I managed to grab Langford, who's been a nice Band-Aid for the last couple weeks, and I've been trying to negotiate with the Matt Forte owner of just offering and he's out. He's basically out of the running for the playoffs, and it's a keeper league. And so I'm trying to dangle. I'm like, I'll give you Allen Robinson, who you can keep, because he cannot keep Matt Forte. I'll give you him for Matt Forte, and it's not getting done. And I'm trying to get all these offers together.
So when is your deadline in that league?
This week.
Yeah. A lot of deadlines hitting this week, so or have already hit. So if you have questions, trade questions, you can go to the website, click the submit a question button. Real easy. We'll answer some trade questions later in the week.
Answer my trade question. I need to get Matt Forte.
Yeah, answer it with a yes is what you're saying. Frank Gore told reporters following the game that he'll be fine. Now, he went out with a knee and quad injury, went back into the game, but looked like he was hobbling around. Bradshaw had some production. Jason, as a Gore owner, as a Bradshaw owner, how you feeling?
If you're a Gore owner and a Bradshaw owner, I think you're feeling fine. If you are a Gore owner that does not have Bradshaw,
is that you now?
Which is now my position. You need to go out and sign Ahmad Bradshaw. We were saying when the Colts signed him, he is a great backup because last year
he knows the system.
When he was in there, he was a top 5 fantasy back. So yeah, I mean, right now you just need to watch practice reports. I expect Gore to play to get the bulk of the carries, but whenever you've got an older fellow who is struggling with injuries as the season continues on and is getting a good workload, there's always a chance for it to become, something that takes him out of the game or out of the season. So you definitely need to have Ahmad Bradshaw, who I believe scored 2 touchdowns this week. You got to have him on your roster. A lot of handcuffs this week that we're going to be talking about on our waiver wire show and ordering them as far as, let's say you're not the owners of these guys. Who do you go out and grab? Because those are important questions. So answers
It was the week of the backup.
It was.
I believe if you look through the top 10, it is just a ridiculous finish.
And we're going to see here, the last bit of news I want to share is the Char West injury. He went down with a hamstring injury. They said he's day-to-day, but the word strain was used, and that could be a multi-week injury. We saw Spencer Ware come in and prove that the Chargers cannot defend a running back. I mean, that's all it told me. Anybody who says it's, as Jason would say, a coming-on party for Spencer Ware. Spencer Ware, yeah, you got to come on to the Chargers, okay? I could run for 75 and a touchdown.
What is happening?
Did you not? How many of the shows did you listen to last week?
I listened to a couple. I saw on.
Did you hear Jason?
Yeah, I heard. I heard some commentary from the Foot Clan on Twitter.
Well, yeah,
about
things
verbiage.
got out of hand. Jason, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
We all do it,
It happens to Jason
but only
all
to
the
Jason.
time.
You're welcome, Foot Clan.
All right.